So hello and welcome back to the Brick Den, and I'm starting this update off by building the sewage section / piping section over on the left hand side of the MOC. Now shortly after I did run into some issues with the electronic door after trying it again, and that's because it's made out of bricks and it was just hitting the side of the wall, so I had to change it to Technic. Now you'll see that later on, but now moving on to the Rockwork, I'm trying a different technique for this MOC because hopefully it's going to be a bit more part efficient, and that is using plates. You'll have to let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Now this section of the Rockwork is mainly finished, so that's probably the best area to critique and give me some feedback about. But me personally, I'm very happy with how it's turning out in terms of aesthetics, and it's also a lot more enjoyable to build than the slopes, which is a bit tedious. I've now reached about the approximate halfway point for this update, so I'm just going to detach the bridge section here. I did get a little bit of feedback about the road from the last update, and I am going to improve that just so it looks a little bit less glossy. As I mentioned, the power functions door is changed, and to access that you have to remove two little parts here to get an access to the battery pack, and then it can be switched on. This section round here is something I'm very happy with and have been working on, as you saw earlier. I'm very happy with the greebled look. Now something that has delayed the progress slightly is that I did order a Britlink order that included a lot of parts that I need to use, and that hasn't come in a very long time, so I've had to reorder those parts because that package did unfortunately get lost. Now as I mentioned, to turn it on you just press this button inside here, and then you use the power functions remote to control the door. It's now Technic, which means it works a whole lot better than the brick built version, although I did prefer the aesthetics of the other one, but the functionality of this one is far better. You can also see the Rockwork over here, which I'm very happy with how that's turning out, and this whole dock area I think is looking really detailed and really nice so far. There's an entrance here inside into a corridor that will take you through into the main garage area of Arkham. Now I have added two more Light My Brick LED lights to the MOC over in the sewage / pipe area, which you can see over here. Now I'm very happy with how these are turning out. But before now I get back to building, I have a very special package which was sent to me by H2 Brick, which is containing some bricks that I'm going to be using for this MOC. Now these parts from a sort of pick a brick at the Legoland in Germany. Now these parts are quite rare, and in terms of Britlink very expensive, so I was very happy for H2 Brick to send me them to the UK, and it was very kind of him to do so. So links in the description, and also one in the cards as well, to his channel and his Instagram as well. Now one of the main parts that I wanted to get that I saw was at this Legoland were the round tiles, both the small and the large size, which I've already used in this MOC earlier in the video on the large pipe in the sewage area. I also wanted these olive green leaves because they're great for MOCs with a more saturated colour scheme. He also sent me some other leaf variation colours, as well as 1x2 black tiles, which I've got a very specific idea for, and then also he sent me some fantastic sand blue tiles, which are another brilliant colour to add to a more saturated colour scheme, which I'm going for this Arkham MOC because I don't want it to seem too colourful. But now back to building. And I'm starting off by doing some rock work with plates at the back. Now this rock work in this update is not going to be in its finished state, I'm going to come back to that later. But then after, I moved on to building the Batcave, or at least a small base of operations for Batman if he ever got trapped on Arkham Island and didn't have access to his main arsenal. Now a problem I'd ran into when building this section is the ceiling height. A minifigure could only just stand up, so it was very tricky keeping everything under the necessary height. I then moved on to building the kitchen area, which went very well. I didn't run into too many problems, and I'm happy with how it turned out. But then after that I went to build the corridor, and I had a problem with getting the light across the corridor, so I had to put it in the tubing, which I think turned out very well. So I've now reached the final part of building for this update, and I'm very happy with how everything's turning out. Not everything I've been building in this video is finished, but what you see now is pretty much the finished state of the underground section of Arkham Asylum. Now a lot of it still isn't finished, like the rock work on the back still needs a lot of work and a lot of detail, but I would very much like, as I said earlier in the video, some critique and some feedback on the Rockwork using the plates, probably the best area to look at, the most finished area, is the front area, which you can see now. At the back as well, I've been working on the 2 rooms, which are pretty much finished, the hallway and the kitchen. There may be a couple of things I do, and then under that, of course, is the back cave as well. Now, a detail that I'm really happy with in the hallway is I've used the force lightning pieces as security to prevent access to the high security section of Arkham Asylum where all the prisoners are kept, which I'll probably be working on next update. I have now also altered some of the lights that I had in this section, only one in fact, and that is the one that was just above the tunnel. I've now moved inside the tunnel. The brick built detail is still there, but the actual electronic light itself has been moved. I just think it gives a nicer effect if it's inside the pipe tunnel. Now, a problem that I'm actually running in with is the lights is coming up with a solution to have the lights be in the other islands, because all the islands should be able to detach and be transported separately and moved around separately. So the issue being with the lights being so difficult to get out and access once I've built them into the building, once they're wired up, is how am I going to have the lights in the other buildings and still be able to detach them and have them as separate pieces. This is something that I'll have to work on in the next update. You can now also get a good look at the Batcave or base of operations for Batman on Arkham Asylum. There are also 2 lights in there. They're not the Light My Bricks, they are in fact the power functions. They're a bit dimmer, but they do still work. And I think they're dimmer because the batteries in my power pack are a little low, so I will need to replace them at some point. But still, I do think they give a nice effect. The access point for the Batcave is through the pipe tunnel and then out a little access gate, and that takes you straight inside. But that does bring this video to an end. Thank you so much for watching, but before I go, don't forget to go and subscribe to H2 Brick, and also this channel is fastly approaching 4,000 subscribers, so I'm interested if any of you have any ideas for a 4,000 subscriber special. I could do another Q&A or something else entirely. I'd very much like your feedback in the comments below on any ideas you might have. I might not necessarily do something in particular. I might save a big subscriber special for 5,000, but I'm open to ideas. But as always, thanks so much for your continuous support. It really does amaze me. But for now, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.